Hello, my name's Yuri.
And my name is Jenny, and welcome back to the Conscious Cuppa podcast, episode 2, season 4. What is that, season 4, episode 2? Where we'll be exploring the divine feminine. And if you've never heard of the term divine feminine, you're not alone.
Curious about what she has to do with creating your reality, realising your dreams, and being and having what you do want? Then stay tuned to find out more.
Yuri, what if I really desire something that's out of reach?
She'll give you a hand up, Jenny.
Yeah, but what if I want something that I've been told is impossible?
She's got it in her infinite storehouse.
Infinite storehouse. What if I've got myself seriously stuck?
She'll get you moving again.
But what if my world is falling apart?
She can pull it back together.
Who is she, really?
Here's a taste of what our fabulous guests had to say about what the divine feminine means to them.
Respecting rhythms and intuition.
A nurturer.
Females take in, males give out.
Maybe the divine bit's a bit more mythical, looking at the past and looking at how that fits into the future.
It's not really something that you can grasp.
It just, in general, God's love.
I saw like a circle.
It looks after you, it's caring. Life.
We made this podcast to big up this overlooked, underappreciated, infinitely intelligent, divine mind who resides within us all.
So, grab a brew,
take a pew,
and let's give the divine feminine her due.
You can send in your questions and suggestions to consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's CONSCIOUSCUPPA@gmail.com.
Look, I've got to go. I've got to go. Conscious Cuppa's on, alright? Conscious Cuppa.
What are we sipping and slurping this week?
So, I believe one of our wonderful guests on this podcast, Robin, gave us a beautiful brew. Now, this says, welcome to the Bird and Blend family. And it's a good karma turmeric tea.
What's the ingredients? Because there's a lot of them.
There is. There's cocoa nibs, oat flowering tops, cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, ashwagandha, and cocoa shells. Now, if I pronounce that wrong, I do apologise.
Apologise for the Bird and Blend. Yeah, this has been here for a little while now, but it's okay. It's best before end of May, so we should be good. I don't know when you're listening to this, but no, we still got a month. I dropped the strainer into the teapot just as a challenge to what you did last week when everything went all over the desk. But it should still work. It looks good.
It does. It looks really interesting. It looks a bit
flowery.
it looks a bit like a farm has fallen in there. There's no mooing cows though, so that's all right. I'll be okay. It's got an unusual smell. Can't really place it. It's not strong like the last week's.
It's not. I'm going to add sugar.
Tell me what happens.
It's nice little glasses as well, so...
Yeah. It's interesting because I've had this oaty flowering tops in tea before, and it gives it a slightly creamy taste.
Taste it with sugar, it's nice.
No. No. I'm just tasting sugar now. I'm not tasting anything else. That's why it's better.
We hope you've got something wonderful in your cup, in your glass, in your flask. Thanks, Robs.
Thanks.
Here's to Lou.
Here's to Lou.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So here's what we do. We asked 30 people to pick from 13 lollipop sticks and gave them 5 minutes to talk about the subject written on the sticks they chose.
Each episode will take turns covering one of those subjects and look at how it relates to the magnificent creative capacity of our very own wonderful divine feminine. This episode, Jenny will be covering getting gifts and
receiving help. which, incidentally, the first person you're going to hear is going to be Robin,
who gifted us this beautiful tea.
Then you're going to be hearing from Matt and Asia. We'll have a Neville Nugget break, and then you'll be hearing from Alex, Chupa and Nicki.
Receiving help.
It's got 2 sides, so see which one you'd like to talk about, or both.
Maybe they'll merge, but the receiving help thing, that is something I've thought about recently, so that one was meant for me, for sure.
Okay. We're going to put 5 minutes
of the
clock, and
give
us an idea of what that means to you.
Well, I can tell you where my thoughts move into on that, because, as you know, my sister recently died, and my prior assumption to people not receiving help as such, but that sympathy and compassion, it's like that thing that we give to each other, and it's a really nice thing that you can do it. If anything, I mean, it's so unanimously agreed upon that we do that it's almost rude if you don't.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that was my prior assumption. Prior to being in that sort of like that grieving process and with my own dying, I would always give it out. It's free for me, you know. I like giving people compassion, you know. It's easy for me. If it's a win for them, then it's great. And I think that when I was in that way of being, you know, when it was grieving and receiving sympathy and stuff, I had a very weird reaction to it, actually. I couldn't engage with it in the way that I thought I would.
Mm.
In fact, you know, it felt like a task for me. When people were saying, like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss and I'm here for you and all that stuff, you know, it was like I really struggled to be, like, responsive for them. And I felt like it was something that I was doing for them rather than the opposite way around.
Mm.
And it was a weird time for me, actually. And I know that people, you know, treat grief in different ways, but for me, I was just tired.
Yeah.
I was just really tired. And when people would send me notifications of thanks and stuff, I really wanted to make sure that I heard them and I felt that and I felt their love that they were trying to give to me. However, what it actually made me feel was just like I didn't have anything left to give, and I was just like giving a little bit away.
Yeah.
It was a really weird thing, because what I expected to happen was not how I actually felt, and I've been trying to pick that apart since then. And I think this is relevant to receiving help, because I always thought that giving help would be a kindness. But when people don't receive help, like, kindly, which happens quite a lot, actually, I've noticed that for my whole life, never really been in a position of the person actually receiving it. It's much harder than I thought it would be.
To receive.
You know, giving, actually, for me personally, giving help is much, much easier than receiving it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that would be the case. It wasn't until I was on the receiving end that I realised how difficult it is, and I can't even figure out why. It's not like I had to work for it. I don't think there's a sense of pride attached. My prior assumption was that, someone won't take money because they've got this pride thing going on. They want to be self-sufficient and they want to be independent. You know, it's just like, just take the money. It doesn't mean anything to me. However, even when it was something as obvious and easy and beneficial as compassion from another person, I still struggled to take it. And I honestly don't know why. So it's made me think twice about how to do this for other people, should I need to, how to give people help when they need it, especially if they're showing signs that they're not receiving it quite as well as I would have hoped. You know, like, and you must have had that, you know, where somebody almost seems ungrateful for what you're willing to offer them.
Yeah.
But why is that? You know, and it wasn't until I had that experience that it gave me question to think, maybe this isn't the right way to do it. There has to be a way of helping each other, but without it being so subtractive. I'm not really sure how to do it yet, but I've been thinking about that anyway. So that's on receiving help. I don't think that's a conclusive thought, but that's the one I've been thinking about recently.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I talk about getting gifts and receiving help.
Yep.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll start with receiving help because that's the one that I saw first. I think I'm much better at giving help than receiving help. And I wish I was much better at receiving help than giving help. So that's something I'm trying to work on a lot, is asking for help, which is something I hardly ever do. So I'm quite fascinated. I'm very happy that I picked this one, which is good. And getting gifts. I love getting gifts. Yeah, and likewise, I guess, resonating with receiving help. Yeah, I'd like to get better at getting gifts. And I guess that's like giving myself gifts and myself help is a good way to start getting help from other people. But it's also, I like giving help because it connects. I like seeing, I don't know, helps an interesting concept, because I guess help maybe should relate more to someone's own needs, because you can't help anyone, but you can give them gifts. So they are definitely not one side of the same coin, two sides of the same coin. So maybe in giving gifts, there should be no help involved.
Getting gifts and receiving help. I was thinking about how I find myself very ungrateful for a lot of what I have, or obsessed with lack of things or opportunities or choices to sort of do or manifest what I need. I think, or just mom being you're so ungrateful as a kid or something. Also, I'm thinking about just the actual physical gifts that I got last Christmas that I really liked. And this recent gift where my partner's grandmother gave me this lipstick that she and my partner's mother has, and it all looks really nice on us in different ways. And it's really sweet, and it's one of my favorite objects that I have in my bag. Not that I covet material objects all the time, or that's what my mom meant when she was you're so grateful, or that's or I'm thinking about lack, or actual gifts that the universe gives you. That's maybe not a gift that the universe is giving me, but it's a gift that I really love, because I'd lost it, and then all of a sudden she got it again somehow, because she knew, my partner's grandmother knew that I had lost it.
Wow.
And so that I just love it. And I don't even wear it all the time. I actually can't, because it kind of looks weird. I don't really like makeup very much, but when I do wear it, it has to be I don't have anything on anyway. And it's just sometimes I take out of my bag to just look at it, because it's silver. And just a gift that I really love. I've received a lot of universal gifts that I'm very thankful for, and you're supposed to say that. But I just really love, this one lipstick. It's I really love that thing. I really love it. And it looks good on, everybody's skin tone, so that's nice. Also because they're different races, and we all have this one lipstick that we all can wear. Anyway, and receiving help. I definitely receive help all the time. My parents are divorced, very divorced, and I've had my issues with both of them, at separate times, at the same time, whatever. And I came back from sort of having an argument with my mom, and then my dad said this thing where it's it's hard to experience that from somebody, and I'm Dad, shut up. What are you talking about that? I don't want to hear that from you. But he was right, and it was a correct thing to say. But I was my initial thing is to shut down that sort of help. Yeah, I think help comes from things you don't expect. I recently met with this Akashic Records woman, and I'm not going to explain what that is, but you guys can look it up. Anyway, and she told me two things, where it was the future isn't necessarily, I think this is kind of universal for everybody, isn't necessarily about doing something wrong or making the wrong choice, but it's about expansive paths and constrictive paths. And I just really like that because nothing's like so dire or bad. It's just constricting and a little bit shittier than like an expansive one. And so there's really like no wrong. It's just what you choose and what you like choose to see. Because you can only like choose something if you like see the help, or you can only like accept the help when you see it, or when you like really need it, you know, or accept that you need help. That's like a tenet of like stuff that I've been thinking about recently. Is like, yeah, you really need to ask for help. Like it needs to come from you. You can't like wait for somebody to see that you need help and for them to make the choice. You know.
You got another minute.
Oh, I don't know. I've definitely like experienced people like being like, I'm just helping you like receive my love, and them being like really annoying and like not helpful at all, and damaging and sort of like pop psychology annoying. But I think like the love that I've received this past year and the support that I received this past year, just being out of college and being kind of confused and self-doubting and down on myself, like I've just received a lot of support just from people who are like, I love you, and like here's like my idea. So that's been nice. I don't have any grand sort of theory.
Okay.
Generally, I don't really like that language. I don't know why. I'm like really like, but that's like sort of corny to be like, I don't like receiving help. Of course I like receiving help. That's it.
It's time for a Neville Nugget.
Jenny, would you like to pick a number for a Neville Nugget?
I will pick number 8, please.
To feel a state as hopeless or impossible is to impress the subconscious with the idea of failure. If I dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delays, the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles as my request and proceeds to produce them in my outer world. On with the podcast. On with the podcast.
What time is it? I think it's conscious cuppa time. Put the kettle on, love.
Getting gifts, receiving help. Oh, I love getting gifts and I don't like receiving help. I actually do like receiving help. I don't like asking for help. I don't know why. It would be really good to know. Why do I not like receiving help? I think I have still something I'm challenging, but I think I have a zero-sum mindset, or like there's another word that I'm looking for that we've talked about here recently. But anyway, yeah, that thing that like, maybe it is zero-sum, like if someone gives me help, I owe them something. And then I think I'm not organised enough or on top of things to like return all the favours. So I just can't receive help. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's so deeply ridden though that I just don't even think to ask a lot of the time, like if I need help. The thing is weird though, actually I'm being so contradictory because in other ways I ask for help all the time. Like, yeah, what's the contradiction there? Like, there's certain things that I think I have to do myself. I think it's probably like the more mundane everyday things I feel like I'm supposed to do myself, like getting dressed. No, not really. I don't think to ask for help for that yet. I don't like I mean kind of like survival stuff or self-care stuff, you know, like stuff around the house or like in my room. Like I feel like this has come up in my room where I've like not, like the Gillian's offered me help and I haven't before I've asked for it, kind of thing. But then if it's something creative, if it's something, obviously that can be creative, so I'm creating a bit of a false distinction here, but it exists in my mind anyway. If it's something more like leisure time, if it's something more like this doesn't have to happen in inverted commas, then that kind of stuff I ask for help all of the time. Like, can you listen to this? What do you think of this idea? Does anyone have this prop that I can use in a performance? Like that kind of thing. I could probably do with reining it in a little bit, maybe. And then getting gifts. It's interesting that I'm in talking about these things. I'm kind of rating myself on like whether I do it well or not. That's just interesting to note. Nothing to see here. Getting gifts. I really love getting gifts and also giving them. I like choosing. I like thinking about the challenge of thinking about what someone might like. It's such a gift to give gifts, because it's so enjoyable, and I think that's for me anyway. It's been a real adult thing. Like it was a discovery as an adult rather than, as a kid. It always seemed to me that like obviously getting gifts is way better. Like obviously, like why would you that? And then a bit in that zero sum mindset of like you only give gifts in order to repay or I think that's. Maybe I'm being a bit unkind to myself, but I think that was something going on there as a kid. But it's been really great to realise as an adult that the distinction between those two things is fluid. And when you give a gift, you're kind of giving yourself one. And when you get one, it's all kind of wrapped up in itself in a big spiral and everyone's kind of benefiting together. I'll leave it there.
Receiving help and getting gifts. Okay, there's a fundamental difference between both.
Uh-huh.
One speaks to me, the receiving help bit speaks to me of a little weakness, of needing something, of not having. I guess because the word help is there.
Yes.
Right? So receiving help. So somebody's helping you. And the other side, the flip side, getting gifts is very different because that's something people are giving you and it's something very positive. Everything's positive about it. Mm. It's a gift to you. Mm. It's a recognition of you as being somebody deserving of something. Mm. And it speaks of people thinking about you and buying something to make you happy, to acknowledge you, to celebrate you, as in gifts for a birthday or gifts for Christmas or something like that. It's something, it's very, very different to receiving help.
Okay.
And it sits better with me.
Yes.
So, I mean, if I think about the best gift I've ever had in my life, it was when I was about 8. And it was my birthday. And we have a family tradition where we go and sing happy birthday in the birthday person's room and then give them their presents. So my family came and sang happy birthday to me and they kind of buggered off. And I was like, wait, something's missing here. That's my gift. And they kind of just went off. So I'd always go and I was very close to somebody who used to cook at home and I would go there and I was with him and I was like, I was going to kind of complain, like these people, they forgot the most important thing, my gift, right? Mm-hmm. And I walked in and there was a black Labrador puppy and that was just, when I speak about it, I feel it's a physical reaction because I remember just how it was so perfectly thought out for me by my family. Yes. They knew I was absolutely crazy about dogs.
Yes.
They delivered it in such a way that I was kind of in the doldrums of sadness that they'd forgotten to give me something.
Yes.
And then they give me one of the best things ever.
Yes.
And this beautiful puppy was just,
Yeah.
So I guess if I was to break it down and take away from it, there's the element of surprise, which actually added to it. There was a thoughtfulness of my family thinking about what would mean so much to me and actually nailing it. They couldn't have given me anything other than that.
Yes.
There was nothing better they could have given me. So I talked about the element of surprise, the choice itself and the fit with the alignment with myself. Yeah, and I guess the whole thing of just the specialness of the day, it was my birthday, it was my family sang to me and then I get this gift, etc. So there's also the context within which that gift is given that adds to it as well.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I can't think of any. I mean, I'm in that memory right now, so I can't speak. I'm with my puppy.
What did you call your puppy?
I gave him a really funny name. I called him Nunkna.
Nunkna?
Yeah.
What was it?
It meant nothing to me, but he just looked like a Nunkna.
It
worked well.
I did it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Getting gifts.
And if you turn it over, there'll be a similar...
Receiving help. Getting gifts, wow. That's a hard one, isn't it? I think it's a hard one. Receiving help, I think I'm better at that. It feels like that's an energetic thing. Getting gifts sometimes I find quite difficult, and I don't know if this is on the subject or gone off already, but when I was young I used to feel like I'd always take longer than everybody to unwrap a present or whatever, and people used to be like, why don't you just unwrap it? And I'd be like, I used to feel like I didn't deserve gifts, I think. In fact, I grew up feeling like that. So I guess there's something about learning to treasure ourselves enough to be able to receive help in the way it's intended. Like, so I went to a group session at the Queer Circle on Thursday, and we were talking about how movement can help release, kind of memory or feelings of trauma or things that have, cause us to feel shameful or guilty or something. While we were there was somebody saying that they felt some of the issues are about just learning, for them anyway, they were sort of saying just learning how to be present when something is being offered, as opposed to somewhere else in their head, so that they've already removed themselves from it and therefore they're not able to really enjoy it or experience it in a joyful way. Because as soon as they feel that something's on offer, it's immediately like they feel they go into some space. It's like a protective space or something. I thought it was really an interesting, reflection on, I don't know, their own experience and what they felt about. Did they deserve anything, really? I have to work really hard for everything. So I guess in terms of the feminine, divine feminine, because there's that kind of idea that the divine is something you really treasure or really worship, maybe in some cases, but worship in the sense that you see it as very important, very powerful and a guiding force. I guess bringing that out is a bit like, being open to treasuring our lives, I guess. I mean, I guess coming back to that, really. Receiving help with things, I often enjoy that. Although it's not always how I expect it. That's the other thing, is doesn't always come in the way you expect it, does it? It's being open to whatever you can learn from the situation you're in, I guess. I've always liked giving gifts more than receiving them, I guess, and that's probably tied up with that. Also, I think I often feel like when I was practicing Buddhism for all that time, I had this thing about some people would chant for very specific things, chant about them, like marriage or a house or something like that. Whereas I used to find myself chanting for everything I needed. Felt most personal to me to chant for everything I needed, which didn't exclude those other things, but it just always felt it was difficult to kind of think about material things in that way for me. But then at the same time I wanted them. So what's that? There's always that contradiction, isn't it? I knew I needed them as well. So it was like, I think there's a contradiction there, and still that just means there's space for growth, really. I mean, I still had a contradiction knowing that, for instance, I know I need to live somewhere. I know I need to be safe where I live. And I would be okay with those slightly more kind of vague things, like I want to feel safe. But to ask for a hat, like to sit in front of what we would call Gohonzon, which would be an object of devotion. It's like a scroll, but it's meant to be a reflection of your life, not something outside yourself. Some people would really feel confident, happy to say, I want to live in Kensington with this kind of property and that kind of car. And that's fine, it's not a judgment. It just, they would be happy with that. I'd find it more difficult to visualise in exactly that way. So I'd end up going, I want everything I need. Yeah. But I knew that needing things is not necessarily selfish in other words.
Okay.
So it's the need is there regardless, isn't it?
Yes.
I need somewhere to live.
Yeah. You need food to eat.
So who's like, in a way, they're more gracious, aren't they, to be really specific about what that means for themselves.
Thank you so much.
So Jenny, what are your thoughts around getting gifts and receiving help?
It's very interesting listening to some of what people were saying against the previous episode about compassion. How it seems easier to give to other people than for oneself. That wasn't everybody, but there was that similar flavour.
Yes.
And I definitely have had that experience in my life where I found it much easier to help my friends than to receive their help. So it was a bit of a one-way street, which isn't the best kind of setup for a friendship, obviously.
Am I to understand that's also about a challenge actually, because I heard the guests say about asking for help specifically?
Yeah, asking for help definitely was not something I was used to doing. And part of that does go back to childhood where I had this sense of self-sufficiency. So something like Alex was saying about the everyday stuff, I definitely do it myself. And maybe other things I'll ask for people's opinion. But I tended to just stick to doing everything myself. But that has definitely changed and definitely shifted. And in terms of the divine feminine, what I understand, especially like Chupa brought up this difference between receiving help and getting gifts. Getting gifts for me is like, I really want to do such and such. But receiving help is like, I'm in trouble. I've got to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
And what the divine feminine is teaching me is that either side of that lollipop stick, whether you're in trouble or you're just in happiness and you've got this fantastic idea that you want to experience, there's the storehouse that we talked about. The divine feminine has this infinite storehouse, and whether it's for something to help lift you up or something to help lift you up higher, then she has that. So come to her storehouse straight away. And that's definitely helped me to experience my desires, whether it's for something I need because I'm in trouble, or whether it's something I need creatively. It's teaching me to go straight to the storehouse. It's teaching me to think of these things as gifts. This desire is a gift to help lift me up. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm wondering, Jenny, what this practice is about getting gifts and receiving help, and where these gifts and help, you talked about the storehouse, but how do I know that I need help or these gifts? Where does that come from? What's that about?
Well, this is what I would say about desire. Whatever the want is, whether it's for a physical thing or something immaterial, it might be a desire for more courage.
Kind of the immaterial stuff that Nicki was talking about.
Yeah, these qualities. Yeah, so whatever that thing is that you need, that is like a call home. It's a call home to say, come home to the storehouse. I have it. So the divine feminine is in a sense talking to the part of you that is what we would term the divine masculine. And because, let's say you're married, you're supposed to go home straight away. You're not supposed to dilly-dally on the way and go here, there and everywhere, which is what I used to do. So that self-sufficiency would have me say, okay, well, I want to do this thing, or I need to do this thing. I have to get some money from somewhere. I would start making the calls and looking up directories and finding out what I need to do without having gone into my imagination whatsoever to accept the gift there first. Not that the legwork wouldn't have to happen. I said this last episode. I might need to make phone calls. I might still need to contact people, but it's not coming from my own small network. By going to the divine feminine first and receiving the gift and receiving the help as a gift, in other words, to immerse myself in the scene that tells me I already have it, that is the agreement I've made. I will have it. I have it. I will have it. I've got it. Then it allows her to go and speak to everybody that needs to be involved, whether that's to go back, I'm going to say this, 50 years and get somebody to invent that thing so that by the time it's time for me to experience it 50 years later, it's here, it's present, it's ready. So I have that kind of faith now in her to that if I've got a desire, then the thing is waiting for me.
So in a sense, these steps of instance are coming out of the blue. They're kind of spontaneous. They're synchronistic, and you're feeling more in the flow and more taken on a journey rather than you having to do this really hard work to make it come about.
That's right. And I think something that Asya said about the constricting paths and the expansive paths kind of is also an indicator of am I being open to the flow, which is something Nicki said. Am I being open to the flow and allowing myself to be taken down the right street, phone the right phone numbers, meet the right people for this gift to arrive on this level? Yes, I've received it in my imagination, but it's got to also transpire on the physical level. And she, the Divine Feminine, is also setting that up as well for me to experience it in an event. You know, I can find something on the street that somebody has put out of the house that they don't want, but it's the thing I wanted.
So what I'm hearing is when you go into your imagination, you set up this feeling of receptiveness to this gift, to this help that you might want or need.
Nicki also said like she would take time to open her gifts. I understand that. I think we've all had that where you feel like you don't deserve it. You're not worthy of such a magnificent gift. I don't know if I'm going off topic slightly here, but I'm thinking, when I think about the technology, the spiritual technology of this experience we're having as human beings, this gift of imagination is so, for me, so spectacular. So spectacular is not the right word. It's so magnificent. It's so beautiful. It's such it's so gracious to have been given these gifts that now that I'm aware of it, I can't help but want to use it to honour this. It's a gift. It's a gift. If I don't go home to the Divine Feminine with this acceptance that what I need, which came through as a desire, that was, let's say the desire is like an intuitive aspect of myself. If I don't go to her storehouse, but rather go to every Tom, Dick and Harriet, then I might be getting like the roughshod version of what I could get. I might be getting cream crackers when I could be having chocolate gatto. And I like that all it requires of me is to go and get the gift.
The highest version, the most divine version of that gift, that thing that you've imagined.
Yes,
that
because
highest feeling is reciprocated in 13, where it comes about on this level.
So 13, which is about reaping the benefits and
happy endings for all.
And happy endings for all. When the Divine Feminine does this for you, nobody loses.
It's a win-win for everyone.
It's a win-win for everybody. You could even just say it's a win for everybody because there's no sides to it. Because she's doing the thing for the whole. This isn't just about you anymore. There's going to be the win of the person who designs the thing that I wanted. There's going to be the win of the tradesperson who might sell it to me, or the person who gives it to me as a gift.
Or the person you use to create a gift, for instance.
Yes, yeah. So all the materials that come together, because this is all being done with love and acceptance and acknowledgement of this as a gift, which means there can't be any strings attached, it's immediately a win for everybody.
So what I'm hearing you say is you're in a state of openness and appreciation for this gift coming through grace, really.
Very much so. I can hear an acronym coming on. What are you going to say? for our words of wisdom.
So our words of wisdom, the acronym this week is RAW. Recognition, openness, acceptance, appreciation, and recognition.
Recognition. And I'm going to add, the love of getting gifts means you've been thought of. And you've been thought of by the people who give it to you, and you've been thought of by the universe who inspired people to give you this particular gift and arranged for all the things to be there. So, for example, Nunca could arrive for this 8-year-old Chupa.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I love also something that Asa said about cherishing the small, sweet and precious gifts. And isn't that ourselves as children? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And although Robin said he used to think it was rude to refuse help, I still have a little tinge of that. Although maybe it's not quite one of the R's that you have for raw, but there's something about acknowledging that people have your best interests at heart, and maybe they're being inspired by that divine feminine.
Yes.
To give you the gift of care.
They're being responsive to this positive energy,
there
this divine energy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's the end of episode 2.
Episode 2. I hope it was a gift for you.
Absolutely.
You can get in touch with us by sending in your mugshots. Yes, your mugshots. Via email, old school. That is consciouscuppa@gmail.com. How do we spell that?
CONSCIOUSCUPPA@gmail.com.
Lovely jubbly. This has been a swell sip.
A beautiful blend.
And a terrific tipple.
Hold on, there's an Easter egg coming your way.
See you next episode.
See you next episode.
Thanks for waiting to the end of the show. We have our Easter egg. We have our Women of the Bible. And it's my turn to pick.
It is.
Let's go. I'm going to get an orange one. We have Phoebe, which means radiant. And Phoebe is mentioned in Romans 16 of the Bible. Her name means, or the state she represents, is generous and radiant. She is a woman who gives to many and receives much.
Wow.
Whoa.
And that was just a random pick. I love that.
Random.
May all your dreams come true.
Generously.